A query is a request for a list of records that meet certain conditions or criteria. The records could be constituent records, gift records, or anything else that's stored in your ResultsPlus database. You create a query with the Query Designer, but before you open the Query Designer, it's very helpful to know two things: exactly what you're looking for and where to find it. Let's say you want to create a list of all of your corporate constituents for a special campaign. What are you looking for? All corporate constituents. Where will you find it? ResultsPlus makes this part very easy. How does ResultsPlus identify types of constituents? When you add a constituent record, one of the first things you do is identify what the constituent type is. This is done on the Type of Constituent screen, where you select the type from a drop-down list. With any luck, there's a constituent type of corporation in your database, which has been put to good use. Now you know you're looking for all constituent records with a constituent type of corporation. But where do you look? Constituent records are stored in database tables. Each database table consists of a collection of fields, which contain specific pieces of information. These fields correspond with the data entry fields in ResultsPlus. General information about constituents is stored in the folder table. This name dates back to earlier versions of ResultsPlus, when a constituent record was known as a folder. There is a field in the folder table named Type, which is where the constituent type value is stored. Once you've used ResultsPlus for a while, you'll know which fields contain the information you look for the most. In the meantime, you'll find 90% of your answers right under your nose on the ResultsPlus screens. When you hold your mouse pointer over data entry fields, ResultsPlus will display a little tooltip showing the name of the database table and field containing that information. For example, when you hover over the Interests field on the General Information tab, you'll see a tooltip that reads Folder.Interests. This tells you that whatever you enter into ResultsPlus for a constituent's interests, the information will be stored in the folder table in the Interests field. You'll find this all over ResultsPlus in all areas of the product. Wherever there's a data entry field, you'll be able to learn exactly where that information is stored in the database. This includes the Names and Addresses tab, where you can hover over the constituent type field name. Now you know where to look: in the folder table, in the Type field. Now that you know what you're looking for and where to find it, you're ready to create a query. Find the Query button on the Home tab, then click it. Then click Design New Query. ResultsPlus will open the Query Designer and walk you through building a query, one step at a time. In Step 1, ResultsPlus asks you to identify the tables you need access to. By default, the address and folder tables are always selected because almost all queries use data stored in one or the other of these tables. Since the critical field for your query is folder.type and the folder table is already selected, you can click Next. In Step 2, you need to do three things: find the field that you will use for your criteria, in this case folder.type, set a value for it, then add it to your criteria statement. Let's do that. First, notice the Table Field area on the top left. This is where you select the table and field that you need to control which constituents are listed in your query. Click the drop-down arrow for the table. Then select the folder table. Now you need to select the field name, which is Type, as in folder.type. Click the drop-down arrow on the next drop-down box. Scroll down and select the Type field. The next thing you need to do is set a value for the field. For your list of corporate constituents, you want to retrieve all constituent records with a constituent type of corporation. Note that the operator field already shows the equals operator. This is just what you need. Click the drop-down arrow in the value field and select Corporation. So far, so good. You've selected the tables you need, address and folder, which are always selected by default. You've selected the database table and field that contain what you're looking for, folder, and type, and you've told ResultsPlus that you're interested only in constituent types of corporation. Now you have the components of your criteria, the basis on which ResultsPlus will build a list of records for you. You need to add this to your formal criteria statement in language the database understands. To do this, you click the Add to Criteria button. This causes the Query Designer to put your criteria into the Selected Criteria box. If you had other criteria, such as including only corporations who have given over a certain amount, you would repeat the process and add additional criteria to your criteria statement. Now click the Next button. In step 3, you tell the Query Designer how you'd like the records to be sorted. You might like to sort your corporation list by state, followed by contact name within the organization, if known, or organization name. Your first sort level will be state. Click the drop-down arrow and select the address.state field. When you've worked with ResultsPlus for a while, you'll know that address fields are stored in the address table. Your second sort level will be contact or corporation name. Click the drop-down arrow for the second sort level and choose address.address name. Then click Next. In step 4, you tell ResultsPlus which fields you want to include on the list of corporate constituents. By default, the folder ID and name key fields are always selected. If you leave these selections as is, you'll get whatever fields are defined as the default for all queries run on your system. This may not suit your purposes, so you'll make specific selections. If you're going to sort by state, it makes sense to lead with that field. Use the scroll bar to find the address.state field. Then double-click it, or simply select it and click the right arrow to move it to the Selected Fields list. You'll want the contact name or the organization name to appear as well. Scroll up and add address.address name after address.state. If there are additional fields you would like to display, like mailing address or phone number, you can add those the same way. When you're done, click Next. Step 5 involves adding additional criteria to this query. You're going to skip this step and click Finish. At this point, the Query Designer asks you to assign a name to this query. Enter a descriptive name. You can also enter a description or information about the query that you think might be helpful. Then click Save and Run. This will run your query immediately so that you can see if you need to make any changes. Your results will look something like this. You can now export this data, use it in MailMerge, or create a group from it. Since you saved it, you can run it again and again, or edit it. This completes the tutorial on creating a query.